I'm Scott Oldford. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs scale past 7 figures, countless past 6 figures. And in this video, I am sharing with you a live conversation in one of my programs with one of those entrepreneurs that I mentor. I hope this is valuable. If you like it, thumbs up. If you like it even more, comment below. All right, let's get to it.
Chris, tell me what's going on. Give me a little bit more information.
Okay. Most of my clients are B2B. So I do sales training in the corporate world. So I train sales teams in financial services and technology, generally SaaS companies. Sales teams are between 5 and 50 people. So it's pure B2B. So I approach a company. I generally have a conversation with the sales manager. I might have to speak with HR people, sometimes procurement, sometimes even the CEO or like a general manager. So it's not really like a funnel system. But I've been working on the B2C side, where I just go straight to salespeople that want my training. But about 9% of my income comes from companies. So I'm starting to feel like, is it just better just to put all my effort into companies?
Well, I mean, you're going to make a lot more money with B2B, but it's a lot slower. I mean, you just said it. Going to B2B is always going to be slower. Your sales process is going to be anywhere from generally like 3 to 12 months. But once you get a client, you're going to get a client and they're going to keep on coming back to you. Once you get a client, they're going to pay you good money. The largest question on this is, can you afford the lack of growth in the time that it takes to be able to spend the time attracting the B2B leads? That's your only question. That's your number one question. That's pretty much what it really comes down to. If you can, I would say focus on one group of people. And if you already got momentum on the B2B, which means referrals, which means case studies, testimonials, all of the things that come along with it, I would tell you to stay there.
Okay. So if I was to stay in that lane, what would be the best way to use this program?
B2B is how I did everything up until 2015. Okay. So my whole methodology was based upon relevancy, omnipresence, intimacy, was based upon B2B. So what is it? Relevancy is getting really, really, really clear website, really clear, simplistic funnel set when somebody actually, not many people are ever going to go through the funnel, but when they do, it's razor sharp. Okay. It's making it so that you're very, very razor sharp on relevancy and all the different parts of relevancy. Like to the point where you just, within 7 seconds, somebody knows yes or no, right? Because when you're getting passed around an email chain, which is what happens, you're getting passed around an email chain, you get a VP, you got 3 minutes to make an impression and you're not even present. So that's number one. Number two, what is omnipresence? Omnipresence inside is PR, is podcasts to the people that are in these organizations. There's not that many podcasts. It's guest blogging on websites where these people are. It's being able to actually be in their inbox and be following up twice a week. Hey, I just wrote this new article about blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to send it over, right? And then that also brings in intimacy, which is, from an intimacy perspective, when I used to do the B2B, I lived in Newfoundland, but I'd go to Toronto. A lot of my big clients were in Toronto. I'd spend a week and I'd do breakfast, lunch, and dinner with all the VP people in the companies. I just take them out to lunch, breakfast, dinner. I just talk about new things. I'm not pitching them anything. I would come by the office. I'd take a day. No, nothing scheduled. I'd get one person scheduled. And then once I'm there talking to that person, I'm like, I'm not really doing anything this afternoon. You want to get lunch, right? Come back from lunch. I have got some ideas for your CTO. I was wondering, you think he might have 20 minutes? Maybe he can come out to lunch too. Intimacy, which is conversation, is what B2B is built on. Right. So if you take relevancy, you take omnipresence, which is elevating your authority, and you take the intimacy approach, right? So we take very few people. B2B is about taking very few people and then being very incredibly relevant and omnipresent to them over and over and over, to the point where they're like, well, he's the only guy. He's the only. I used to be, one of my clients, I probably bill about $3 million a year to them back in the day. And I'd spend a good solid, probably 2 days every quarter just hanging out. Not there to do anything. I would just hang out. I'd get to know my original in was the CEO. And what I knew was I got to be best friends with every single person she talks to. So I became good friends with her assistant, right? So that if I need to get a message to her, it happened. And then it was the CTO, it was the CMO, and the COO. Over the span of a couple of years, I made it so that the whole company was all for me. Everything come up. Oh yeah, let's just get Scott on that. I literally, that company, when I went into them, they did a request for proposal for everything. By the time that I was in there for about 9 months, it literally skipped the RFP stage. That's how you do it. That's how you would apply that in a B2B scenario. I probably should do a B2B program someday, but I don't get rather excited about it. Kind of boring to me, but it like pays fucking amazing. It's so easy to do. That's how I did that. And that's how I would do that. And that's how that training is applied. And that's how I learned. That's how I learned relevancy, was like one-on-one. Oh, they didn't really get that. Oh, let me try this. And then getting your relevancy right for the individual customer. Because when you're doing online marketing, it's like, here's my relevancy, here's my funnel, here's my stuff. When it's one-on-one, it's like, all right, this proposal has to be relevant to this group. How do I get the messaging right for this? How do I get the positioning right for this? How do I get my authority for this particular group of people? And then being relevant in person. If you can be relevant in person, you've mastered the relevancy game. And every person I meet, I'm going to be like, all right, what do they need? If I'm playing this more in-person game, I'm saying, okay, what do I know about them? And how do I make it for where they are and where I am in the meeting point? I mean, it's partially social emotional intelligence, but that is relevancy. It's understanding how to craft who you are so that somebody sees you as somebody they want to be around.
No, I am doing that. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you the question, basically. Just make sure I'm doing the right thing. Because if I go all in on B2B, like I still got the online courses and people are buying stuff on Samcart, and I do online conferences just for B2C. Yep. But yeah, the contracts are just way bigger on B2B.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's a lot longer cycle. It's a lot more boring business, and it's simpler. It is easier in many ways. It's easier than the online business. Very relationship driven. But if you're good at that game, a lot of people aren't good at that game. If you're good at that game, it's a great business. It's very stable. You don't have to like figure out all the funnels and all the different types of things. But the reason why I don't tell people about it, and I don't recommend it, is that it takes years to get the momentum there. And you got to be a little sharper on your game than you do on the B2C. You really do. You got to be a bit sharper, and you get judged more deeply on your results. All right. So you got to be good at what you do.